Well, I'm home now. I'm all over the place today. It's a Sunday, and there's no time off on Sunday this week. Um, Trying to finish up polishing up the staking. I'd said that a number of clients had messaged me. I talked to a number of clients and then set out the staking as I saw fit. And then we had a number of people respond some very good dialogue there. And I think we're going to make some changes on a few horses, which is great. That's a great thing about having so many people involved with the stable is, so many people either have great questions that lead to great answers or have some wonderful input to what we're trying to do, and that's exactly what happened when it came to the staking. What are we at now? The 3-year-olds. Now, in regards to the staking, please, I know that the bills were sent out a little bit later this month. I think we were 6th or 7th or something, and the problem is it's always the same. Wendy is just trying her best to get all the American bills in on time. Some of our trainers are good about it, and some of our American vendors are poor about it. And to be honest, some of the clients, some of the vendors here, the vets are pretty good now, but some of the turnout farms are a little slow getting their bills out. They're used to sending them out on the 8th or 9th or 10th and receiving their money by the 30th. We'd like to get them in right away to make our bills accurate. I guess in a perfect world, as Wendy said last week, we would bill everybody on the 15th and there'd be no problems at all. We could go to that. Now is not the time to do it with the staking coming up. As you guys can imagine, I've said, how stressful it is this time of year because I have a ton of money to pay out. When you have to write a check for $70,000 for staking, it's stressful. I was trying to think of a real cool word to use, but stressful is the proper one. So, I understand many of you only got your bills on Thursday or Friday, want to spend the weekend with your families. If you're watching this on Monday, open up your account, and if there's a balance there, I'd appreciate it. Listen, I try not to bother anybody all the time. We got great clients. We have a wonderful stable of horses and people, and I certainly don't want to bother anybody. But at the same time, February, March, April, and even May, you guys know what I'm up against and what the stable's up against, and it would be extremely helpful if we could get those payments in. So, that being said, let's talk about the 3-year-olds. We talked about an opening, talked about the 2-year-olds, how impressed I was with them yesterday. I'm going to give you a little update on the 3-year-olds and what they're doing, what they're up to. We have some that are heading to the sale this week, and some that were that trained fantastic, and one in particular that raced how I expected him to, but not how he has been in the last 2 or 3 starts, and was truly something to watch last night. Where are we at here? Ailsund, she's getting close. I know that the Hackett is coming up mid to end March, so I think Jason's getting them all a little bit closer. I think the PA horses, he has Johan and Sebastian, you will get to them in a minute, but they're getting a little bit closer. And then Rosa and Versatile is ready to qualify right now. So some horses that are very close, other ones that are so-so. But Ailsund, I think, had been around 215. I'd be guessing. Maybe a little more, but for the most part, 215-ish. Anteros is heading to the sale tomorrow. We'd said about, we really, at this time of year, there's got to be lines drawn in the sand for some horses, and unfortunately, Anteros is one of them. He's heading off to the sale in Ohio. Arctic Force is training great. Doug Brown has nothing but great things to say about this colt, and how couldn't he? The horse is just a really nice horse. He's good to deal with, and he really thinks he's going to be some kind of horse. I had a great conversation today with Kenny Frieder about Arctic Force. He's a substantial owner of that horse, and we were talking about the Art Rooney, and it's hard, right, for a horse that hasn't done a whole lot, and you're talking about, for all intents and purposes, a Grand Circuit event, but at the same time, I don't want him on a half, right? I think the best way to put it was how I put it to Kenny. The issues of the past can be the issues of the future, and certainly the present if you don't pay attention. And I think keeping Arctic Force off a half as much as we can, and there are tons of races for this horse. If he is as good as Doug thinks he is, now Doug's only been in 230 with him, but Doug Brown has sat behind a number of very, very good horses in his life, and he really likes Arctic Force. He likes really Blue Chip too, but really loves Arctic Force. So Arctic Force is training down in Florida. We'll probably ship him back up here end of March-ish. Beach Boutique's getting very close to schooling. And Harry and I talked about her the other day. She just looks good. She doesn't look like she did last year. She looked like she had talent. She was put together pretty good. Now she looks like a good horse, and Harry's really impressed with her. So am I. She's probably going over to go mile 2.5 or 2.6 at Mohawk this week. Beach Bum BB. I was impressed with Beach Bum BB when I went with her in that drone video for you guys. I think she's been in 20 a few times. Probably ready for about 212. I don't know whether Harry will do that at the farm or Mohawk. I suspect the farm. She's a good probably 2-3 weeks away. Bottle of Red's qualifying next Thursday. This is probably one of the highest anticipations for me recently, coming up soon. Bottle of Red schooled very, very good 2 weeks ago for James, and then last week for me. This affiliate, I think I went a mile 58-3, coming out from 56-3, 56-2 with her. She was very, very good. Kevin has done a tremendous job with Bottle of Red. Really excited to see how she's going to qualify on Thursday. Brushcut's going to skip this week. We're going to give him a week off. As I said, he's a big colt, and he's really coming into his own. He's gone 2 big weeks in a row, 2 big miles. That takes a little bit out of him. Want to let him recoup. Kevin said to me, he goes, you think we should give him a week? Kevin already knew the answer to that. He was calling me for the week. He just framed it as a question like that. But at the same time, Brushcut probably needed the week off. We'll give him the week off. He'll be back at it next week. Cabernet will be coming back in, I suspect, this week, I believe, very soon. Cabernet will be rejoining the stable from her turnout. Canadian Titan is training down well now. I saw Mario train her the other day. She looked great. She hasn't been much, 30, 35. She's quite a ways away, but it looks good. Capistrano starting to come around and look good. Classic Con's heading to the sale on tomorrow morning. He'll be heading down to Ohio. Compass Rose DC isn't. She's training great. Again, these sorts have been around 225, 230. They're still a little ways away, but still look really good. Don't believe me, just watch. Same type of thing. He's training really, really well. Emerald Miss was a little flat this week. Now, she was flat last week. We drew her blood. Her differential was flipped. For you horsemen out there, or you know anything about blood work, usually when that differential is flipped, they're getting the virus or they're getting over the virus. And she just didn't seem comfy to me. She went a mile in 2 minutes again, but we're not going to qualify her until she's Emerald Miss. She's supposed to be. So she's ready to go when she's ready to go. So Emerald Miss will probably school again this week. And during strengths back training, same thing around Canadian Titan, 230, 235-ish speed. Excellent Nation was very good the other night. Closing third, off 2 weeks also. Pace 55, I think. Don't quote me on that. I think 55. But looked very, very good doing it. So Forged in Fire was good training the other day. He's been around 225. Oh, Forged in Fire. I got it mixed up with the next one. Forged in Fire was the horse I wanted to talk about. Here's a horse that I had schooled in 2-1 without hobbles on. He made a break. And who qualified him? Must have been James qualified him when we were gone away with the hobbles on. I've never actually sat behind him with hobbles on. I warmed him up the other night. I wasn't driving him, but I wanted to make sure everything was good. I talked to Travis throughout the week. Really what it came down to, everybody thinks that Anthony's just going to drive the best horse. Anthony still works for everybody, and he's going to drive the horse that needs him the most. And Susie K was coming off a break at London. She was a little tentative on the half to begin with. She's going to need 2 or 3 starts on a half. Just because she brushes at herself. So she has to get her legs underneath her for a half-mile track, and we'll do that over the next few weeks. But Forged in Fire, although he made a break on Travis, he didn't the week before. Travis told me, he said he thought when he grabbed him, he was getting a little rough. That's when he makes a mistake. I said, well, don't grab him. Let him roll. And when I warmed him up, I knew he was ready to go a decent mile, but I certainly didn't know 2-1. That was a massive mile over Flamborough. I mean, we're not talking, we're not talking Canadian Trotting Classic or anything, but 2-1 last half in 58-4. Last quarter in 30-2 was 28 apiece down the backstretch. First over, cleared off the lead and went right for the throat. He didn't let up. He drove away. Just goes to show how much this horse actually learned and how far he's come. We're going to race him at Mohawk a week from Monday. Really impressed with Forged in Fire. A bit of a coming out party for him. Just so excited to see this horse, especially this horse. For those of you that are involved with him and you know what he went through as a 2-year-old, very excited and very proud of Forged in Fire and what he did on Saturday night. Frontier Cruises, who I spoke about before by accident, he trained in 225, seems fine. Giddy Up Max is ready to go around 212. I think Harry said something about Mohawk this week with him. Globe Trotting's not. She's going to be a little while longer yet. She's been in 225 or so. Harness AM, virtually the same type thing, 2025. Hometown Boys will be going to Mohawk this week. I trained him at the farm. You guys didn't get to see the video after the drone video, but I went again with him at the farm. Went a mile in 208 in the bike, and he was very, very good last week. I'll play it alone. I have some people, again, a little concerned because I'll play it alone. He's 10 starts in and hasn't really done much since he won his first lifetime start. He paced 56 the other day. Last half, I think 56 and a bit. Last quarter, 28-3. Was he perfect? No, but he was pretty close. And he's become a gentleman on the track. He was a little grabby the other day, but for the most part, had been a gentleman on the track. And I really think people just need to understand, if you're going to judge him with Excellent Nation, you're going to be disappointed. Excellent Nation's a better horse than him right now. But he's close. He's close. And I'll play it alone. The difference between being close and not is the difference between 3rd and 7th now, isn't it? Or 6th. And I'll play it alone. Was close and did well, but that's that razor thin line is between 1st and 8th sometimes, and the guy that finished 8th is pissed off and the guy that wins happy, but there's such a thin line between the two of them, you don't really notice it. So I'll play it alone as doing everything right. Do we need to race him in the maiden? Yes. We need to stay away from the non-winners of 2 as much as we can, and then if we have to go to the B track, I think he's getting close to being able to do that. So I'll play it alone. I've been happy with him. There are some people that are unhappy with him, but I think that's a little unfair and unwarranted. This is a colt that's done a lot and has come a long, long way in the 10 starts he's raced in his life. Inland Beach, I suspect, is getting close. Mario trains her every Wednesday and Saturday, so I suspect 215, 220. She's getting really close. Jailhouse Masters going to the sale tomorrow in Ohio. Johan is getting very close. I might school Johan and Sebastian Yu this week. They haven't actually been on the trot in a month and a half. They've been galloping, but I might school Johan this week. So we'll see. We'll see how Johan feels on Thursday. Just for Me and You is getting close now. For those of you out there, I said we were going to enter in that stake on March 4th. I don't think that's wise. I don't want to rush this filly. She's been in 215. She's got 16 days to be ready for a race that's going to go 57. That's a little unfair, and I think we're going to back her out of that stake series. Knockdown Drag Out, we're back and forth with a number of clients. Obviously, this is a filly we still have. She ended her year with a ton of question marks, and we still have a ton of people that are excited about racing her everywhere. And we really just have to pick her spots. No half-mile tracks. I don't want her on a half-mile track. I know she's small, but she doesn't get around a half-mile track great. I'd rather keep her off the halves. I want to give her... I don't want her racing stacked up against 7 days, 7 days, 7 days, 7 days. She's only a small filly, and she'll look like a scarecrow by the time the summer's done. So I'd like to find a 7 to 10 to 14-day schedule for her through the summer, factoring in schoolers, tune-up races, and whatnot that would get her to 13 to 15 starts. I'll finish doing that tonight. Miss Brampton Beast looked good on the track. I saw her. I think you're really going to be impressed with her this year. Again, she's only been around 230. She's making her way down. Miss Mischief Maker is qualifying this week. 2-1 the other day. I was really, really impressed with her. Really excited to see how she's going to look on Thursday. Muscle Chrome's very close also. I think she's been around 210. She might be heading to the track this week for a little tune-up also. Nancy Allison also is very, very close. She'll be heading to the track soon for a little more work. Need Your Opinion. Throttled her back a little bit. She's around the 230 range, I believe also Olympic Hopeful is the same thing, training down, same as these other 3-year-olds, probably been around 25 or 30. She'll be getting ready, aiming for that, I believe, end of April, if I'm not mistaken, is hers. Overdue Mission has been around 225, but I think she's going to make a little quicker ascent than everybody else just because she can get so grabby and hot. She's a little more comfortable going quarters in 34, 33 than 35, 36, and that might not make sense to you. You might say, it's 1 second, what's the difference? To a horse like her, it's a big difference. And I think you'll probably see her ready maybe a week or two before the other horses. She's getting close. Path of Totality has been training for Kevin. I misrepresented how fast he'd been. I don't know why. I thought Kevin had told me he'd been in 20, but he'd only been in 38 with her 2 weeks ago when I made my video. He's down around 28 or 30 now. He's very, very impressed with Path of Totality. It's pretty hard not to be. She's just a sweetheart. Really Blue Chip's training down good. Doug Brown has nothing but nice things to say about him. Rooney Blue Chip has been in 2.9, I believe, 2.10. I'm going to take him over to Mohawk and train him this week. Rose Run Valiant. Now, we did make in the drone video the other day, I had said to you, wanted to make some shoeing and equipment adjustments to Rose Run Valiant. I personally haven't gone with him since. Jason said he was good the other day. I'll probably train him in the middle of the week, see if I see a difference in him. Rose Run Versatile will be qualifying on Thursday evening. Will she have the hobbles on or will she not? that'll be up to her. We'll see on Tuesday. I'm going to bring her over to Mohawk and let her scoot along a little bit, see how she feels. Sebastian Yu is likely going to school on Thursday afternoon. Also, we got a lot of horses schooling on Thursday. So sometimes things happen. Is training well also. He's not ready to school yet. Neither is Spend That Money. But both of them are on their way down. Been around 25, I think, with both of them. Spirit of Dio is training in Florida. John Bootenchain. Wow, what a video of her with no hobbles on the other day. A lot of people might be surprised because she wore them so tight at 2, but I think that's just how she needed them at 2. I'm not surprised at all this filly's trotting this well without hobbles, and I wouldn't be shocked at all if she raced this year without them. Sunshine and Shade, I suspect, is getting pretty close. He wasn't really off that long, so I suspect he'll probably be 210, 2.8 this week. Susie K raced well. I know a lot of people said, 2-3 in a piece. She tried a half in a minute flat. She was 5 wide around the last 4 or 5 wide around the last turn. Tried the last quarter in 31 and 2, but it's tough to make up ground when she's a little self-conscious of the turns to begin with, and you're way out in the outside with her. Of course, she's going to show a slower last quarter. I was happy with her, though. She's going to need 2 or 3 more starts. I would love to be able to race her at Mohawk. She just can't trot 56. So, we'll see how tough the class looks this week, but I suspect she'll be back in to go in that particular class next Saturday. There'll be no Forged in Fire in there. He'll be going to Mohawk a week from Monday. Trafalgar has to be getting close. She went out at the same time as Sunshine and Shade. I think Harry said he'd been in 2:15 with her. She made a break on the schooling day, on the drone day, but she never runs, and Harry just hit her a little close, and he said she just rolled off. She was great afterwards. Watch Av is qualifying on Thursday. Really, really impressed with what I've seen from Watch Av. Man, oh man, he's turned into a nice horse. Can't wait to see how he qualifies on Thursday. Willpower Fashion's been in 2:30, 2:25, something like that. He's a little ways away. And Zeb Sunshine schooled the other day and looked good schooling. I suspect he'll be in for one more schooler this week. So that's all the 3-year-olds. That's everything that's going on. As I said, thank you everybody for your dialogue on potential staking engagements for the horses. It's very much appreciated. And also appreciated, as I said, getting those checks in the mail Monday would be great. I have to send a check on Thursday for a substantial amount of money, and it would be very helpful if all the money was already there to cover it. So that's it. That's all the horses. We'll get to the barns in just a minute. A lot going on racing this week, a lot going on next week. But for the week that was, it's all over now. Talk to you guys soon. I'll be right back with all the barns in just a minute.